Put on your seatbelt. Let's go.
All right, turn up the music.
There's a killer on the loose. Look out, he's right behind you. He won't give me the axe. I'm scared, but I'm fighting back. We are the Scream Queens, running through the night. We are the Scream Queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright.
Welcome to Scream Queens Horror Road Trip Podcast. That's your final girl, Miss Justine. Hi, Justine.
Hey, I'm a little out of breath after that. Sorry, Soul Survivor, Mr. Josh. How are you doing today?
I'm good. That's me. I'm Mr. Josh, and we are a road trip horror movie podcast. And we are currently in our sound booth, aka Justine's car.
Yes, recording episode 84 of our podcast.
On
we are.
Interstate 49 or something like that.
Something like
Heading
that.
north, we're heading to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, to visit one of the most haunted hotels in America.
Josh, they said it was the haunted.
You're right.
The
Everything-
most haunted.
You're right. People are telling us this is the most haunted hotel. I was being a little humble,
I'm just
downplaying
preparing
it.
myself and setting expectations really high.
I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm
I
worried
know.
I'm going to wake up with a ghost tickling my feet or something else, and
Like tickling your balls.
maybe I'm just worried I'm going to be frightened in the middle of the
Okay.
night. That's my worst
I was
fear.
just wondering, like, where the tickling was going to be.
A daytime ghost would be fine.
A daytime?
I could take a daytime tickle.
God, that's kind of
But-
like day drinking, you know? I'm so game for it. Like, nighttime drinking is like, ugh.
Past my bedtime.
Yes, like, so it's the same for paranormal things for us.
But you guys listening, we are covering 1408, which, as you know or may not know, is about a haunted hotel.
Yes.
Specifically, a haunted hotel room. At the Eureka Springs Crescent Inn, where we're staying, every room is haunted.
Yeah, there wasn't just like a particular one. I'm sure when we get there, there'll be like info about different rooms and all the activity, but this has definitely been like featured on like those Travel Channel shows like Ghost Hunters and all those Discovery.
Ghost Adventures,
yeah, like
Ghost Spookers.
Ghost Paranormal,
All the shows.
Fright Shit,
Oh.
Fright Taking Shit.
Fright shit. Okay. I like that show.
Freaky shit. Okay, so we're heading there right now, and we're gonna cover 1408. It seems to just track really well.
Yeah, the Crescent Inn was built in 1866, or opened in 1866.
1886.
What did I say?
1866.
It wasn't Sister Sis?
Nope, not Sister Sis.
Oh, I stand corrected, y'all. It was
1886.
1886.
Uh-huh. The sis.
And, you know, it's garnered a reputation for being spooky. And we'll tell you more on the second half when we come up. When we come back, we'll give you some stories. We'll just tell you more history that we've learned.
We'll see what we garner it to be.
Yeah, over our stay. We'll tell you all about our experience.
Okay, so we are going to cover 1408. It's got John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, very small cast of people
That you know.
that we know of, and it's all about a haunted room. And it's all about this haunted guy. You know, he's got a haunted past himself.
And you'll never guess which room is haunted.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it 1205? Is it
Uh,
1183? No, it's 1408.
it's what the movie, it's the titular,
It's the 10.
it's the tit.
And, you know, it's in a hotel where there is no 13th floor, so we know it's really the 13th floor. And numerology-wise, 1408 adds up to 13.
Yes, that's revealed in the movie, too.
But then don't you keep breaking it down, and then you add the 1 and the 3, and then it's 4, really?
Why are you doing this to me? Stop it right now.
I think I'm not a numerology expert at all.
No, you're not.
I just know you keep adding the numbers till it breaks down.
You just have a passing fancy for it?
A passing fancy. I have a passing fancy for a lot of things.
too. Gosh, that truck was like so loud. Sorry guys, that truck was really loud. It got in my
He was taking up a lot of space.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's allowed to take up some space, but okay. So 1408 also is a short story by Stephen King, and it was in like an audiobook, and then it was then put in written form in like a compilation.
What was the name of the compilation?
Everything's Eventual.
Everything is eventual.
It's true. Like
something
that is
has
true.
to do with something.
So, as we often say, something's got to do with something.
Something's got to do with something.
Everything's eventual. Seems like tomato.
Seems like very similar philosophies.
Yes. Yeah. If like our philosophy, if we started writing it out, those would all be in the mission statement.
They would be.
Yeah. Like
something's got to do with something.
Something's got to do with something. Everything's eventual. Keep on trucking.
Just do it.
Yeah, just a little more lighthearted, I guess. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, and this is directed by a director I've never heard of.
Yeah, Mikael Hafström.
Yes, I believe he might be from the Nordic region.
Yes, based on when the name was like written out, and there were the like Nordic little.
It had all those like little dots and stuff above his name.
You are so insensitive to the Nordic dot alphabet and ignorant.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, so it is directed by someone that we don't know, but in all truth, most of the movies that we cover are from people we don't know.
I'm sure he's a nice guy and doesn't sound like the Swedish chef on Fraggle Rock.
Okay, yeah, smorgasbordy and like
smorgasbord.
Okay, but I'm ready to just dive into the dolphin.
That's the name of the hotel in 1408.
Oh my God, I was
and
like trying to segue.
I'll segue.
You segue?
I'll segue.
Josh, how does this movie open? How about you open this movie?
Well, I was
like
going to say, speaking of like ghost adventures and things of that nature, the movie opens with our hero of the film, John Cusack, whose name I forget because it's pretty
Mike.
Mike. See, sorry, Michaels and Mikes. I'm a Josh, but in case you forgot. But,
sorry to all those generals out there.
But Mike, he writes horror nonfiction. He goes to haunted locations, haunted hotels, writes about it, and thus begins the movie. He's heading to some like B&B, right? Some little hotel or bed and breakfast.
It's like a rainy night. He's just pulling up to this B&B. And what I love about the bed and breakfast is it's like they have that little bridge like to get to the bed and breakfast.
Yes.
Like you got to park and then go over this like little bridge.
I love a little bridge.
Cute and quaint. And you just, it's an assuming, because then you go in there and it's like bridge nothing. Yeah. Haunted everything. These people are trying to sell him on the haunting of their bed and breakfast.
And he's already annoyed. You can tell he's very cynical about what he does to begin with. And he's like, yeah, just give me my key.
Yeah, it's rainy, I'm wet.
I don't need to hear your whole spiel about the haunted hotel.
I'll be the judge of that, basically.
Yeah.
So he gets upstairs to his room in the attic that they said is like the most haunted room in the bed and breakfast, and that all of this lady's like kids died of tuberculosis, which I just loved.
Tuberculosis.
Yeah, when the lady says they all died of tuberculosis, I was like, that must be something different than tuberculosis.
I know, I was about to say, I wonder if it's similar to tuberculosis.
I wonder if it's the same like genus or whatever, like. Isn't the species and a genus and a penis and a
genius penis
and a weenus?
Happiness.
It's a genus penis. So he's up there and he is like busting out his little recorder. He has like an audio recorder that he's constantly talking to himself in to take notes.
And it will come back. Remember this recorder.
Come back full circle.
Yes.
He's already like basically debunking the stuff that's in the room. You know, he's like, the wind, blah blah blah, is coming from here, blah 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 blah, this and da 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 da. Everything has a reason.
Yeah. And he's like, see ya.
Yeah. Like.
And now he's like gonna have like a little book signing. No one's really that excited that he's at the Barnes and Noble. There's maybe like 4 people there, and you know, one girl is very sincere and it's like, you know, I read something of yours that you had written a long time ago that was really touched me, and, you know, when are you going to write something like that again? And he seems surprised that this girl has written or has read this kind of more intimate piece that he had written, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, I don't really write that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah, basically just do this shit.
And that opens us up to be like, I wonder what they're talking about.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're finding out that he's got a history about himself. But I do love in that like bookstore when he's kind of like describing his latest book, and the lady that's sitting in the front, like there's only like 4 people like you said there, and the lady that's sitting in the front is like hardcore eye fucking him like the whole time. Like it's just like uncomfortable a little bit, and then she goes up to like get her book signed, and she's still like serving him like all these like winks and like eyebrows, and just, you know, really trying to see if he'll meet her in the car, but he never does. So
he doesn't. We'll find out he's married.
Yeah, he's got things going on. So he does the book signing thing, and he's like, you know what, I've got to surf. I
gotta go surfing, okay?
It's interesting too, because I guess like I always thought, and maybe this is just I'm ignorant to surfing, but I thought it was kind of like a morning thing that you want to like go catch those like big waves and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm done with most of my day. I'm gonna go surf.
It's the only time I have. You know, it's funny because John Cusack, I always think of like a Chicago guy. You know, it's kind of funny buying him as like this surfer guy,
like this LA guy,
this LA ghost chasing surfer guy. That's like, I just gotta go surf, guys. It's been a tough day.
Just gotta get my board, hit the waves.
Cowabunga, ride those waves.
Feel the ocean spray on my face.
Bruh.
Bruh up. And then he's doing that thing that we call surfing, but not very well. And he gets like taken over by a wave and then caught up in it, and then he's washed up.
Does he get hit by his board? Because I never understood. I'm like,
no, he just
like
got
fell.
knocked by a wave.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, okay. That's what I mean. He's very amateur. Like, you should be able. It wasn't that big of a wave. He should have just been able to like, whee!
Oh no, he took a tumble and a tussle.
Yeah, and he really ingested some good seawater too.
Ew.
Well, he does, because he wakes up and he's like spitting it out.
Yeah, but just the way you said it, like
ingested.
It was more like the tone. But I'm uncomfortable now.
Well, that's on you, girl.
Ingested the seawater.
Ingested the seawater.
It's for some reason the way you're saying ingested is like how stop. It's like how people say moist.
Moist ingested.
Stop. Okay, we're being so stupid.
Ingested the moist. What's another word you don't like?
I'll think of it. I'll tell you in a second.
So yeah, he has like a bad surfing accident, but not really. He just took a tumble on a wave.
Yeah, so he heads back to his like place, checks his mailbox, and this is where he gets a postcard from somebody, and it says, "Don't stay in 1408."
Yeah, and it's from the Dolphin Hotel, right? The postcard.
But it's like, well, who would have sent?
Yeah.
You know, like that, especially if in just a little bit when we talk about when he arrives at the Dolphin, how they react. It's like, well, but it seems like you kind of coaxed him into coming here. So he's like, ooh, I guess I gotta stay at 1408. And he calls to reserve a room, and he's immediately shut down. Like the hotel clerk's like, nope, it's booked. He's like, I didn't even give you a date.
They're like, it's booked like forever. You're not getting a room next week, next year.
Yeah.
We're booked. And so he calls his lawyer.
Like any, very privileged man will do.
Yeah. He calls his agent, who calls the lawyer. They have a big meeting. He's like, you know what? I found out about this law that if a hotel actually has a room open, they can't discriminate. So you show up and you tell them.
Yeah, that you get to be in that room.
I get that room because I say so.
And it's like a small little just cameo, not even cameo, but it's Tony Shalhoub who's there. Like, love him.
He's like, I took a day off from Monk.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna play your publisher in this movie.
For my old buddy John Cusack. I just call him Sack. We're such good friends.
I just call him John Sack.
I just call him John Sack, Johnny Sack. Sometimes call him Big Sack.
Big Sack. Just cuz.
When he's smelly, I call him Stinky Sack.
Stinky Sack, yeah. Oh, when he's all like working out, I call him Sweaty Sack. When he's sad, I call him Droopy Sack.
Or a sad sack.
Sad.
Oh my god, we're ridiculous.
Oh my god, I think I forgot like 4 times that we're actually recording right now.
Anywho.
Okay, so Sad Sack is like, all right, I'm coming to New York, and his publisher's like, do you really think that that's like a good idea, coming back to the place? The place that you're gonna come to, that you've already been?
Yeah, they're really trying to like not give us the exposition while giving us the exposition. Which I mean, in a way, fair. At least they're not just hitting us over the head with it. He's
True.
trying, but
don't
it's
tease me.
It's still very obvious.
Yeah.
Though, what they're
It's like,
gearing
tell
up
me
to.
what's up. Don't you just serve me these shit lines? I want to know what's happening. So, okay, next he arrives at the Dolphin. He checks in, and everyone's kind of being like overly friendly, like, "Hey, can I take your bag? Can I check your sack?"
Wow.
Like,
Hello, Mr. Sack.
Yeah.
Which is funny because his character's name's not even John Cusack, but we're just like
no, his name's Mike.
Mike Elson or
Yes,
something.
Mike Elson. Okay, so Mike Elson checks in, and upon checking in, the clerk's like, "Hold on, let me get my manager." It's like, why? Like, nothing has been escalated. But
He's like, I just been standing here.
the
waiting."
computer said, like, get the manager whenever he checks in. And so, manager walks over, and it's good old Sammy Jackson. And he is like, "Hey, can I take you into my office so we can talk more about this room
He's
and
like-
I can see you naked?"
I know. And Mike's like, and by talk, do you mean ass to ass?
Like, and by talk, do you mean dirty?
How are you going to be talking to me?
Should I bring my bags? Okay, so they get into the office, and he's like, "Seriously, dude, don't check in. Like, we're trying hardcore to not get you to check in." It's I don't know. He's serving like the girl that does but doesn't. Like,
He's
vibe.
also like acting like a very posh professor too,
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson. It's a fun role for him. He's campy.
His office is like way decorated too. It's like this old library looking, like,
Yeah.
and he has a whiskey decanter.
Yeah, that's what I meant by like professor, like old timey professor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's having a lot of fun with the part. I feel like. You know,
Yes.
It's almost like maybe a part that like Vincent Price would have had.
Oh my gosh!
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
totally.
Like in 14 I could see Vincent Price playing that part.
That's like it's
And I feel
serving
like
the
he's
ominous
kind of
lines.
like channeling Vincent. He may not have, but that's kind of what I see in that. I like Samuel Jackson's performance in this movie.
Yes, he's
It's a little over the top, but it's I think meant to be.
Yeah, it's a little campy, and I like it.
Uh-huh.
So he is telling him like, you shouldn't go in there. He's showing him more information than what really you could find on like the internet about how like they won't even report on all of the quote natural deaths that happen in there. You think you know about all the people that have died, but you don't.
Yeah.
And then he's even like trying to butter him up and like gives him like a whole thing of like bourbon, like, you know, it's on me. But like at the end of the conversation, Mike's like, "No, I'm going in." He's like, "Damn it! I
He's
thought
like,
I convinced
"Dude,
you."
I just told you how many people have died in there.
Like 50 plus victims.
And that no one's really made it more than an hour in there. That we keep the door open and people we stay in there less than 10 minutes and do it in
Like to
shifts
clean
it every month.
And
Like,
he even tells them like one time, one of the maids, the bathroom door shut on her, and then the other like maid couldn't get it open. But then when they finally did, she had like gouged her own eyes out. And it's like, okay, she was in there for like 10 minutes,
yeah.
and she was.
It's like maybe, okay, to prevent this whole like, well, somebody can stay in it if they really want to. Why didn't they just turn it into like another like janitor's closet or something, or just completely condemn it, and tear it
Exactly.
down, and then no one can stay in it. It's almost like they want people to come to 1408, like something maybe a little bit more sinister
Yes,
is
a little bit
keeping
more
the room open.
malicious.
Yes. Malicious and nutritious.
So, okay, Samuel L. Jackson's character's name is Olin.
Olin.
Yeah, Olin, hotel manager Olin.
Mr. Olin.
And he takes him up, escorts him up onto the 13th floor, even though they don't have a 13th floor, to get to 1408. But he won't get off the actual, like, elevator. He's like, this is as far as I go.
He's like, see ya. I can feel its presence already.
And we now have our hero, Mike, actually walking into the room and looking around, and it's kind of just a hotel room.
Yeah, it's actually a nice room. It's sweet, really. Like,
Yeah, there's like a dining area, a large bathroom.
a separate bedroom. I'm like, this is nice, this is swanky. You tell me I'm gonna die in
This-
here?
This is where I'm
Die
gonna
of
stay.
happiness
Yeah.
and relaxation.
I'm gonna take a nice bath with bubbles and shit, and like take care. It's called
You're gonna shit
self-care.
in the bathtub.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to like mention that.
You said
since-
take a bathtub and shit. I usually do that in the toilet, not in the bathtub.
I meant stuff. So no, not defecate, but like, you know, like shit, like do shit,
Yeah.
like hang out in my bathtub.
Yeah,
Jeez.
maybe watch something on YouTube.
Yeah,
or
like get my like phone,
Netflix.
prop it up, and like you know,
Make sure it doesn't fall in the bath.
just stay warm. That's my vibe in my 1408 room. Okay, so he's looking around, he's getting all of his equipment out, and there's an immediate like rustle, like, ooh, something's happening.
And he's like, someone's in here.
Whips around, and there's now chocolates on the bed that weren't there just a second ago.
And so he's running from like room to room, because remember, we said it's really a suite. It's a nice room. And so he's convinced someone's in there already, like, you know, fucking with him, trying to convince him that the room's haunted.
He's going in the bathroom, and he had just gone into the bathroom, but like the toilet paper, like it had been turned down like differently.
Yeah, it was like all folded, all cute.
He's like, oh yeah, somebody's in here messing around with me, hiding in this closet. But then,
He's like, it didn't have the cute fold last time I was in here.
when I just wiped my ass 2 seconds ago, it didn't have no cute fold. So who the hell's in here?
Who's
I need
holding
to
my
wipe my-
TV all cute?
So he does that, walks around for a little bit. He's looking through out the windows. There's these windows, and he's looking at the view, but it's getting a little warm, and so he picks up the phone, and immediately the hotel clerk, it's a lady's voice. She's like, "Are you ready to check out?"
He's like, no. And I think it's the same clerk we saw earlier that's like, let me get the manager.
"Yes."
Like, she has a very distinct voice.
But he's like, "No, I'm doing just fine. I just wanted somebody to come up here and fix the thermostat
He's
because
like-
it's warm in here."
Yeah, it's getting hot. Wasn't he even like envisioning that the phone was melting? Or no, that's later.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Calm
Sorry.
it down, batch.
I just got so excited.
Yeah, so he's like, "Yeah, I gotta have somebody come up." She's like, "Yeah, no problem whatsoever. You get on that, Daddy." And the mechanic shows up at the door, but he won't come inside.
Yeah, he's like, are you kidding me? I'm not coming in there. And he's like, an idiot can fix that. He's like, take the little thing off, give it a little tap,
Yeah.
and you're going to have cool air. And so,
It'll fix. He does that.
Mr. Sack takes the thing off, he gives it the tap, and it works.
He tapped the
He
sack.
gives it a little tap.
Oh my God, we're just like being disgusting. Okay, so he tapped
Always.
the sack, thermometer stat,
Thermometer. It's like a monster.
it
thermometer.
is like it's a thermometer
It is.
monster.
It's like the whole
It's gonna mess with him.
hotel is a monster.
So the thermostat is now working, but he turns around. He's like, "Thank you, sir, for helping," but he's not there anymore. The mechanic guy is already skedaddled off.
Yeah, he's like running off, and he's like, sir, can I give you a tip?
I guess not. Oh,
He wanted to give him
Mr.
the tip.
Sack wanted to
Give him the
give a
tip. He's like, just the tip.
Oh no. So now he's like, okay, well, it's cooling off in here. How about I pour myself a little bourbon, get myself all cozy in this bed, and then he's laying there, and the radio, like the clock radio, just turns on and starts playing the Carpenters, like, we've only just begun
to leave. And that's the one fault of this movie. They're going to try to convince me that the silky smooth vocal stylings of Karen Carpenter is supposed to be creepy.
I'm mad.
No sir.
I can't.
No ma'am, no sir.
The moment that song came on, my heart got happy.
Karen Carpenter is a fucking angel.
She's a legend.
And she's a real angel.
Don't touch her! I'm so sick of your shit already.
Don't you come for Karen Carpenter. You can go after her brother Richard. Fine.
Fine.
But
Dick Carpenter? Fine.
But you leave baby angel Karen alone.
God, she was... R.I.P.
She starved herself for us.
Yes.
Assholes. Okay, moving on.
Anyways.
This movie already gets a star, or a less knife, just because they're
Just
trying
because
to...
of that
Just
bullshit?
because they're trying to make me scared of Karen Carpenter. How
Okay.
dare they?
How dare they? The audacity of
That's what it is.
the director, Mike.
It's a lot of that audace.
Odd ass.
Audacity.
So the clock begins a countdown from 60 minutes. There's this high-pitched noise, and it kind of like paralyzes Mike. He like kind of doubles over, falls up against this window, and the window, he's like got his hands on the windowsill, and he had opened those windows so they were up, but they fall down on his hand, and it like busted.
He's hurt. It's like bleeding. I'm sure it's at least fractured or broke. If not, he's at least gonna bruise the bone.
It's a contusion at the least, and a broke ass bitch at the most.
Broke ass bitch.
So he scoops his hand up, rushes into the bathroom, turns on the faucet to try to like wash away the blood, see like what the damage is.
He needs to put under some cold water if he doesn't have ice.
Yeah, I gotta stop that bleeding.
Yeah.
And
swelling.
But the sink, the faucet, like it bursts, and then just this scalding hot water just comes out just all over his hand.
And that's not what you
burns it.
want on a hurt hand. You don't want hot water.
No, that sweet little baby hand needs to be taken care of.
You need some cold.
But so he got burnt, and he's like pissed too. He's like throwing his arm, like getting blood everywhere. He's like super. I mean, I guess I would be too. Probably like, yeah, if I'm in pain and like more stuff is happening and it's like adding insult to injury, I am probably gonna get like super hot tempered.
And
quickly.
now he's finally at the point where he's like, fine, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. And he tries to leave, but the doors won't open.
Yeah, the radio goes off again, and like there's more paranormal activity happening. So he's like, I'm gonna call the front desk because I just cannot.
Is this when he has the fight with the person? That's really freaky.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
So he calls the front desk. He's like, I'm hurt. You know, like you just get me out of here. Call someone. Like I don't want to be in here anymore.
Yeah, because here's the deal. From now on, for like pretty much the next hour, it's just an hour of John Cusack running around scared and different things scaring him. So I'm kind of like, that's why I'm already like, kind of like in our time, like we'll get lost. Where I'm like, okay, has the creepy person popped out yet? Okay, no, that's later after the room turns to ice. You know,
it's like it's all going to happen, and it's all going to be contained in this room with this one character.
It could be a really creepy play. It would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, 1408, like on stage.
On stage.
Let's do it. Let's write the bill for it.
We're gonna win the Tony.
We are. I believe in us, so I think we can do it. Just take on another hobby. That's all we can do in this life. Excuse me. So more paranormal activity starts happening. He sees these apparitions appear, walk over to the window.
You mean
and
the
jump out
hologram
of
people?
Yeah, they are like weird holograms.
They look like a hologram, something you'd see in a video game, but they're apparently ghosts.
Yes,
not
they're
just
supposed to
holograms.
be ghosts that are leading him to where they committed suicide.
And maybe the director wanted them to look more like a hologram, so he could still play with the idea of like this is fake, you know, like that this is a projection from the hotel or whatever.
Yes, it definitely could have been an artistic choice for sure. I also think like it came out in like 2007, and there was just something about like the style of movie making during that time where things were lit a certain way things were often like really like dark, and like music was kind of like a lot of like, I like that in this there isn't a lot of this type of music where it's like heavy on like the metal and but yeah, so definitely, I just mean like I get what you mean. It's like definitely like an artistic choice, and it could have been to like trick the character into thinking that it was a projection from the hotel
or whatever. Like it might have been ghosts, but I'm saying the director
Yeah.
might have done that, so we as an audience would think, oh, maybe it's the hotel, not
Tricking
really
him.
a ghost.
Yeah. But they're jumping out of the window,
they're-
and it's multiple or different like.
And one lady's like, "Wah!" The second she jumps out, I'm like, okay, well, you just made that choice.
Yeah, like what? I guess yeah.
Not
you
that it
can
wouldn't be
still be scary.
Yeah, but
And then he goes to like open the door, and it won't open. The doorknob comes off, so he's like feeling really trapped.
and now he's like, he went from 0 to 100 pretty quick. Like from no, this is all fake. To, holy shit, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he goes over that window, and he's looking across, and he sees a man in a room directly across, like in the building across from him, and he's like trying to get his attention, but then he notices actually that man is kind of like mimicking what he's doing.
And then he sees his face and sees it's him. But you know, at first it wasn't him. That guy wasn't doing the same thing. I think that is a really creepy and cool moment, because he's trying to wave him down. The guy's clearly watching TV, but the more that he comes to the window, the more he's behaving like John Cusack, and then he totally is John Cusack
Yeah.
at a point.
It's like, oh no, there probably is actually somebody over there, but the hotel isn't gonna
They're
allow
not gonna
him
see
to.
me. Yeah. It's a creepy moment. I do like that.
And so he tries to wave him down and can't see him, and next he's like, well, maybe it's all in my head. Maybe the bourbon that Olin gave me is laced.
He's like, what did he put in that bourbon?
Yeah.
So doesn't he try to call the front again, or no? I forgot what.
No, he thinks that it's got all laced. He turns on, like, he's convinced almost that he just has to last for like 4 to 5 hours to get like whatever drug must have been in that bourbon like out of him. But then the TV turns on, and the TV starts playing this like old home movie of him and his wife and daughter, and we find out like some
That
pretty
maybe his
terrible
wife,
stuff.
or that maybe their daughter was dying. We see them all huddled around each other in a hospital bed, and they're talking about death, and like, you're not going to die for a long time, baby, don't worry, it's going to be a long time before you die. And but they're kind of giving each other glances like, we're lying to our kid right now.
Yeah, and it is strange because like the hospital scenes of her, I'm like, you look like you're in just like an urgent care room. Like, you don't look like you're at the hospital. Like, there's no like computer monitors around her. You don't really get or understand what it is exactly, this ailment that she's sick from. You just know that she is, and they've got like heavy like white makeup all over her to make her look sick.
So you think she went to urgent care, and they were like,
Yeah,
ma'am, you're dying.
And they were like, there's nothing to do. We can't do anything about it. You're just like, you're dying like now, and your parents are crying about it.
in the minor emergency.
Yeah. It's just what it looks like.
Yeah.
So
This looks like a doctor's office. Yeah.
it doesn't look like they've been like living at the hospital, and that like her place. But sorry, don't mean to be judgmental about the set design or anything.
Actually, yes, we did.
Yeah, for sure.
It was horrendous.
But there's
though.
apparently no cure for whatever disease it is that she has. I think she got a paper cut, and they took her to urgent care, but
They're
they
like,
were like,
"Damn
you're
it."
dying.
She is dying.
You're dying because of this viral
Paper cut.
the conjunctivitis that you have in your eyeball.
Yeah,
It's
some.
pink eye, but you're gonna die from it. The room changes again, disorienting him, and now the windows are all gone, and he starts listening to his recorder, and the recorder is like telling him, like, he's listening to his voice, but he's like, I didn't say those things, like, oh, I got into this room and there's no windows. He's like, no, when I walked into the room, there was windows.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And
It's
so
messing with me.
He tries to call his wife, right?
Yeah,
who-
it gets really, really cold in the room, and he gets his computer out, and he's like, maybe I can get like a Wi-Fi connection.
Well, and he tries to call her a couple times. The first time he talks to her for a few seconds, the sprinkler bursts, and he's like, "Damn it!" And he thinks it like fucks his laptop
Ooh,
up.
we got like a motorcycle by us.
Oh, and he's jamming out.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So he thinks, okay, I'm gonna try to get my wife, convince her to like send police to 1408, and she's kind of like not really buying it for a moment because she's like, wait a second, like I haven't heard from you in a year, and now you're like you're Skyping me,
Yeah.
just randomly, and you need my help. But the sprinklers go off, and it damages his computer
He's
for a
like,
little
"Dang
bit.
it."
And he's like, you know what? Fine. I'm going to try to climb through these air duct crawl spaces.
Yeah.
But right then is when he gets this like attack that happens. He looks in the mirror, and there is this like creepy, crazy man.
Crazy man lady.
Yeah.
It does look like a bald lady, but yeah, maybe it's a bald man.
It's something.
I'm not gonna assume their gender.
Okay,
it was
don't.
just a crazy person.
Yeah, a crazy person in the room that's like trying to attack him, like with like something blunt, like a blunt object.
And it's a good jump scare because it's seemingly comes out of nowhere,
And it does. Like, it took me aback.
Oh, it took you aback.
I took me aback.
It took me a front.
A back and a front. And so he does start climbing up into the air duct, and then there's like this man, or there's like this scarecrow looking like person, like he's crawling around as well. He's got like a bag over his head, and he's going after him.
Yeah.
And it's creepy. But
And he
kicks
sees his
it.
wife at one point when he's in the air duct. He's looking down at like some lady, and the lady's like, "Mike, come help me with the baby." And his name is Mike. And then she hears him and looks up, and it's his ex-wife looking right at him from below. And he's like, "Ugh."
You're like, oh, it must have been like a scene from like his past, like her taking care of their daughter.
Him being an absent father.
But this thing that's chasing after him in the air ducts, though, finally catches up to him, and he kicks it away, and then it kind of just disintegrates. He falls back into the room, 1408, and it's cold, and he's having to like keep himself warm by like this makeshift fire that he's made.
He finds a really nice duvet to curl up in.
Yeah. He's still seeing these like visions of like his daughter fighting for her life, and his wife and him crying and talking about how they should have done more and maybe not like sold her on the whole idea of the cloud papa. And
yeah, and he's all like, what? It's like just like this random flashback of them fighting about like, maybe we shouldn't have given our daughter hope.
yeah, I'm like, why would it have been terrible for her to think like, if she does have a terminal illness, that like it's not all over yet? You know, it must be scary for her to be so young a child, knowing that she was going to die. But that's a strange scene, and it's also a scene that when I watch it, I'm like, this looks oddly pieced together. Like, it's not very well like edited. The conversation is very clunky.
It seemed like they needed something there to be like, see this, show them why they're estranged. They it's a very generic like family after a death type scene.
They don't agree with how they're grieving.
Yes, it's just very generic.
And she, obviously is hurt, and he is going to resort to maybe some little drinking, some little smoking to take all that pain away.
Take the edge off.
He also decides, and that's when he decides like to look in the refrigerator. I think he like is hungry, wants something, but this refrigerator scene is kind of interesting.
Oh my God.
It's like a mini fridge.
It's almost like this director all of a sudden was like, I'm going to try to make like an Eraserhead or a weird David Lynch moment.
Yeah.
Because he opens the fridge, and then there's like
inside the fridge is the office of
Samuel Jackson,
yeah.
but it's all like mini, like he's a little tiny Samuel Jackson in the refrigerator talking to him.
And you can see like they're like a mini vodka bottles, the mini, the little mini foods that they put in the fridge. It's all like surrounding him, but then he's in the office. It's odd.
Yeah.
It seems out of place, but okay, cool. Again, proving that the room knows no bounds. It just does whatever the hell it wants.
And then what happens? Like, doesn't something start flooding, and he drowns next, right?
Yeah. Okay. So he hears on his computer that his wife is calling him. And he opens it up. She's like, I've been trying to reach you. Are you really in the room? Because I sent the cops there and they can't find you. And he's like, what? No! No! And then the computer like takes over, and a different mic like tells her like, yeah, you've got to come up here. You're the only one that can save my life. I need you. You've got to get here soon.
And she's like, okay, I'm coming. And she signs off, and then like the other mic looks at Mike and kind of just gives a creepy smile.
Like the mic in the little window of the Skype is like winking at him. It's so creepy.
That is creepy.
So he rages at this point. He's in the room and he rages out, and then the room kind of is like, you know what? I'm gonna rage out with you. And there's this painting on the wall,
That's right.
and it's of a ship. But the ship is like in a violent storm kind of thing. And that like scene comes to life.
And it like starts pouring water into the room, and all of a sudden he's drowning. He's getting deeper and deeper in the water, and then all of a sudden he's in the waves again.
Yeah, he's in open water, and then he's washed up onto shore, and we're back at that like scene of him where he was surfing.
And we're supposed to be like, oh, it was all a dream.
Yeah,
this is why there was the surf accident earlier.
That's just to bring us back to that.
But I will say, I think the director made a big mistake here, because the whole time he's cluing us in. Like, everything is like, has this gold tint to it. Everything's off just a little bit. Everybody's kind of talks in these whispers now. And so the director's already showing us that this is just a dream.
It's false, yeah.
And so later, when we're supposed to have this twist of like, oh my god, no, he's still in that hotel room, it doesn't pay off at all. You already knew it because he's been selling so hard. It's like he already wants you to know it's a dream. How he shoots everything, how the dialogue is recited.
I'll say, or maybe he just like doesn't think that his audience was smart enough. Or
I didn't think we were smart enough. I thought we were too smart and would already figure it out.
Yeah.
But
whatever
I think
it was,
when the reveal happens later, when they start tearing everything apart, would have been so much more satisfying if you weren't already like 90% sure it was just a dream.
Yes. So here we are in what we think is he's gotten out of the room. His wife is in this hospital room. She's like, yeah, you were washed up. And he's like, no, I was in this room in 1408. And she's like, no, you're here in LA. You've never been to New York. Or that didn't happen. None of that stuff happened. He's like, okay, well, I had like a really vivid dream. And then he and she are like at this restaurant, and he's talking more about this vivid dream that he had of 1408. And she's like, wow, you should write about it. And he sees a glimpse of a waitress walking by, and he is like scared because it looks like the lady, one of those apparitions that was in the room that jumped out the window. And so that's one of those moments, like you're saying, where we're like clued into, oh, this might not be reality. So he does write about it. It's so quick too. He's like, okay, I just sit down and I write my whole book, and then I put the manuscript together and I go to the post office to mail it off. And that's this scene, the post office scene, is where this big reveal, this twist is that he never actually got out of the room, because all the postal workers
start tearing the post office apart.
They're actually hotel workers, and they start ripping all of the things off the walls and then showing that it's actually the room, 1408.
The hotel,
he never got out.
Yeah, the hotel room is underneath everything they're tearing apart, so it's being revealed more and more that he's still stuck there. And it's a really cool visual, and that's done really well. Like, the tearing down looks really cool. But it would have been such a cool payoff if we really were convinced that it was not this was really happening.
That he got out.
But he clues us in from the very beginning that it's a dream.
Mm-hmm. So he comes to back in 1408, and he's like, I was out. And now he's convinced that he'll either be stuck there. He looks over the clock. The countdown is almost done. And then it completes, but nothing happens. He's like thinking, well, I guess I should have died, but I didn't. Why didn't I die? And the phone rings, and the lady on the phone, he's like, why don't you just like kill me? She's like, well, you could choose to relive an hour over and over and over and over again. It's almost like a joyride. Like, see how many times you can last? Or you can use the express exit, and there's a noose hanging.
Yeah, she's like, this is the ultimate escape house.
Yeah, exactly.
You
You
know?
could be stuck in here forever trying to get out of it, or here you go, here's your way out.
Yeah.
And he decides he's not going to take either option. If he is going to have to die in that room, he's going to destroy the room. And he
Yeah.
starts making these Molotov cocktails out of all of the little mini bar.
He's like, I'm
things.
gonna light this place up.
And his daughter appears, and she's like, Daddy, don't you love me? Oh, Dad, love me
Please.
more.
Hug me, love me. Don't you love me, Daddy? Daddy, love me. Love, love, Daddy.
Daddy,
Guilt,
love.
guilt.
You love me, right, Daddy? Daddy, love. Over and over again. And he's like
He's
trying
like,
to
"Yeah,
hold her.
baby,
I love you. And then she like dies in his arms, and then she crumbles into like ash.
And that's also a cool visual. Like while he's
That's-
hugging her, she turns to ash and she flies away.
And we see him, he's like, you know what, that's it. And he lights up the room, you know, the Molotov cocktails, he just starts throwing them, lighting the room up on fire. We also get a scene of Lily in a cab on her way to the hotel.
Because in case we didn't make it clear, she lives in New York.
Mhm.
That's what the whole, like, oh, you haven't been back to New York since, you know.
The death of your
thing
daughter, we find
happened.
out. Yeah, it's because it all takes place in New York and he hadn't been back. And she's on her way, but then she sees like emergency responders like going by, like an ambulance and cops and everything, and the fire trucks, because he had lit the room on fire.
He's like, I'm taking this room down. No, he's gonna demolish it. He's like, the hotel won't do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna light it up on fire, so they have to condone it. Condone it. No, they have been condoning it. They need to condemn
They
it.
need to condemn.
And so he's also like hiding out in the room, like under something, trying to protect himself from getting like too damaged. But he doesn't really care. He thinks he's gonna die in the room. The fire fighters, they get in the room and they pull him out
Just in time.
just in time before he's taking his like last little breaths, you know,
Yeah, before he takes his last breaths and before they
hit their last breaths.
before they take their last breaths by being in
Without
that
their
room.
last breaths. And we see the manager, Olin, he's in his office and he's sipping on his bourbon. He's like, way to go, well done,
Well
Mr.
done,
Elson.
Mr. Elson. Well done.
He's all dressed up in like a ascot.
Yeah, it's the most like I was saying about the Vincent Price.
Yes.
It's the most like Vincent Pricey campy performance at the
kind of
very
tipping his
end.
glass, and it's so cute.
So it's almost like this was all set up. Like he knew this was the guy maybe
Yeah.
that was going to do it. I bet he sent the postcard.
I bet you he did send the postcard.
And he knew like all the pushback would only want him to stay more. But he knew someone needed to take care of it.
And it had to have been
Had to
him.
be him. So good
So,
job. Mr.
way to go. Well done.
Well done.
Mr. Ensign. And so now we get Mike back. We see him at the hospital getting himself all repaired
It's almost
up,
like an identical scene from the other hospital scene earlier where
except that she validates that he was in
Yes.
the room, and so all of that was
Exactly.
real.
Yep.
So she and him move back in together. We get a little scene, a little epilogue basically of him moving back in. He's got some boxes. She's like, I'm gonna throw this out. He's looking in. He's like, oh no, not this one. And it's the recorder of 1408. And he's like, no, sometimes you've got to keep the bad memories.
Yeah, it's his handheld recorder.
He pushes play on it, kind of like speeds it up. He's just trying to hear, what all happened. And it lands on, he pushes play, and it's his daughter's voice.
Saying, Daddy, love,
Kind
love,
of
Daddy.
proving,
Daddy,
like,
love, Daddy, Daddy, guilt, love.
Guilt, shame, daddy love, daddy,
Dad,
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 don't you love me, daddy love?
Dad.
But he looks over at his wife, and she's looking at him. That's their daughter, on the recorder, but she's been dead. So now they have this, like,
Proof that what he was saying
Yes.
was real.
that it was haunted.
And
it
that
was
she really
real.
could, yeah.
And then it ends.
Oh my goodness.
It does end, and I will say that there was an alternative ending to all of it
Yeah.
that the director chose not to go with. And we're going to talk about that in the next half.
Yeah.
Because we're nearly where we need to be. So.
And, keep your fingers crossed that we do not have a 1408 experience. We want to go, just have some light, ghosty fun, but we don't want to get tickled in the dark.
No, not that way. But if for some reason someone else finds this recorder years later of us and our very
Tickled.
last episode, last portion of it at least,
So we must have gotten dark tickled.
we got real dark tickled.
So,
Our sacks got tickled for sure.
yeah.
So
So hopefully we'll be back in 5 seconds.
hang tight.
Listen to a little bit of our music, and we'll be right back. Tell you all about our adventures and break down our favorite scenes and give you our knife rating.
All right, check you in a moment.
We dare you to cross this line. You don't think we can stop you now? Keep getting up, we'll keep taking you down. We are the scream queens, running through the night. We are the scream queens, gonna put out the fight.
We're back. We survived the Crescent Hotel.
Barely.
Barely. That's
we
right.
nearly met our demise there in the middle of the night.
We woke up to 2 towels folded on top of the toilet. That is our big ghost story. This morning we woke up, I went to the bathroom, the lid to the toilet was down, and there were 2 towels sitting on top of it. Neither one of us claimed to have done it.
I don't remember doing that. I don't know why I would have done that.
Maybe they fell, but they were laid there neatly.
They were just placed ever so gently.
And that was our ghost story.
But yeah, so we'll just give you the rundown, Let's just get into it.
The hotel is massive. It's only 4 stories, but it's tall. It's up at the top of this hill in an already hilly town.
Yeah, we're all up in the Ozark Mountains, and we got our gluteus maximus workout on.
Yeah, my butt is in tip-top shape right now.
I got like a Kim K booty for days right now.
Yeah, we checked in. We couldn't go to our room right away, so we went to the 4th floor where they have like a pizza and like a beer joint, and we had
Rooftop bar, yeah.
rooftop bar, and we had a beer, had some pizza. It was nice, kind of unwind a little bit, and we're already kind of looking around for ghosts. And the hotel is old. It's on the National Registry, so there's they've had a lot of updates, but they're still working on things, and it's creaky. It's dark on the inside. It definitely has a vibe. There's like a depressive kind of
you can
feeling there.
Feel something lingering in the air, something just won't pass on.
Yeah, like I was ready to go.
The air was thick in the hotel. It just kind of felt like, I don't know, just dense.
Yeah, when we woke up this morning, I was like, should we just get ready and get out of here?
Yeah, we woke up, we're like, okay, bye.
Let's
Thank
get
you for
out.
the towels on the toilet seat. So yeah, we got our beers and pizza and got ourselves all kind of settled in and was like, let's go shopping. So we went to the little historic downtown area.
We walked down this crazy hill, and the whole time I'm like,
Steep-ass
we're gonna have to
hills.
walk back up.
Yes.
The whole town is like windy roads, one-way roads on hills.
There are no lights.
Yeah, there's no traffic lights in the town. It's all like, stop signs yielding, whatnot.
There's no 90-degree right turns or anything. Like,
Yeah, no 2 streets meet at a 90-degree turn or something like that.
crazy.
Whatever
So
that means, I don't know math. But
the topography was great and interesting and pretty. And
yeah, and it's a really
expansive.
it's a really quirky little town. There's like 2 little strips that parallel each other. That's where all like the little shopping and restaurants are. However, we have decided we kind of came at the wrong time of the year.
Well, yeah, no, I agree, but I mean, it's not like we just didn't do our research. Basically, it's winter season and
A lot of
shops closed.
Yeah, a lot of the shops, restaurants, and hotels closed. We kept driving by things that were like closed for the season, or
Yeah.
like when we were shopping on, I think it was like Main Street, and I forget what the other street was called that also had some shopping and stuff. But
Van Buren or something?
yeah, but everything was closed.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Not everything, but like every other shop, it seemed.
Yeah, there was this really cool game board shop.
And we went in there.
I got a horror movie Trivial Pursuit
was
game that I
amazing.
can't wait to play.
I cannot wait to bust that open and just start reading the questions.
But the whole downtown's like this old Victorian, built into the hill. A lot of them old, huge stone buildings.
Yeah, there's even like a restaurant that's like a cave, and
Yeah, that we couldn't get into.
no, they were like booked because like if it was like open, it was going to be packed. Like we decided to go to this beautifully quaint like house kitchen that's an authentic like old style Italian food.
Oh, it was so good.
And it was so good, but we waited for a while.
Yeah, you're literally eating in a house. I don't think anyone lives there, but
No.
the dining room is like the living room. and,
Yes, there's
like,
tables.
Yeah, it's all tables all over the first floor. You
Like
wait.
homemade pasta.
Yeah, you wait upstairs in the lounge. We overheard someone saying that there's someone that comes in every day to make the homemade pasta. Oh, we're about to do some merging.
It's like there goes the navigation interrupting you.
Yeah, she's rude.
She's a bitch and she knows it.
She's a diva. But yeah, the town, it was a little sleepy this time of year. That's all I was going to say. We still had a great time.
Yeah.
But if you want to experience maybe everything the town has to offer, come. I think their season is like
Spring and
spring,
onwards.
probably through the holidays.
Yes.
And then we saw so many things that were like closed after Christmas, will reopen in March or reopen in
Yes.
February or
Looks like they all take a hibernation for January and February.
Yes.
So, but we enjoyed it. We, when we went shopping, we went to this like nut shop and I bought all kinds of nuts. And they gave me a bag that had the phrase "This is your nut sack" on it.
Yeah, so she's carrying around a bag saying, "This is my nut sack."
So that was fun.
Kind of like John Cusack.
John like Cusack. That sack. I had my own
You
sack.
had a sack. He's a sack.
He's a sack. We were sacking.
Maybe you're related.
Maybe. We did see like a hotel and inn that next time we come to Eureka Springs, we're already like, yes, we're going there. We stopped off and had drinks in their like little lounge. It was a New Orleans style hotel.
Yeah, it might have even been called like the New Orleans Hotel
Yeah.
or something, and they had a thing called the Voodoo Lounge. We had a really nice cocktail in there.
Really tasty.
The Crescent's cool, but you feel a little isolated. You're at the top of this hill.
Yes.
Everything is kind of down below, and like we said, it's easy to go down that hill, but climbing back up, you
Oh
don't
my
want to do
God.
that over and over.
We literally had a drink to just build up the courage to go back up
Yeah,
the hill.
that's
And it
what-
was no Kate Bush song, I swear. We were not running up that hill.
We were going very slowly.
I was like taking my time.
But the Crescent does boast that they have a shuttle service for you, so you
Yeah.
can take a shuttle down and up.
But we were trying to get that workout on.
We're just Miss Independent.
Yes,
so.
we are. We just can't help it. So yeah, we went and did a little shopping and then walked our asses all the way back to the hotel and decided we needed some caffeine. So we found a little coffee shop.
Called Base Camps. It's a little on the outskirts of town, near the Great Passion Play, which I have no interest in seeing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it's a really great little coffee shop. They had some wonderful cold brew, a really yummy cookie.
Yes, and then just the vibe in there was nice and calm and relaxing, so we could chill, unwind
Yeah.
after our gluteus maximus workout.
We tried to go there this morning, but they didn't open until 9. And
Yeah.
we were like, well, we're trying to get out of here.
That was fine because there was also another coffee shop I wanted to go to, so we ended up going through there. It was a drive-through, and they made a delicious dirty chai latte with almond milk.
And the drive-thru is called Bean Me Up.
Bean me up.
And it was good.
Yeah, I felt like it was out of this world.
It was out of this world.
So then, yeah, we had dinner at that Emilio's in the little house, and then walked around that evening all around the Crescent property.
Yeah, we went back to explore that night, and we couldn't get tickets to the ghost tour. It was
So we
sold
just-
out.
Yeah, we just decided to spook each other.
And
Well,
honestly, it's probably because everything else was closed.
Yeah,
so
it
the
was
only
like
thing to do in
off-season.
town
let's go to the Crescent ghost tour.
was to go to the ghost tour.
But we ended up getting spooky on each other.
Ew.
Oh, well, I just mean like we were freaking each other out being on like the grounds. There was this like little Catholic church with all these illuminated statues, and
we walked around outside in the dark.
there was like a rectory, so we were kind of just like getting spooked.
They had a little like ice skating rink going on out there, and like
Yeah.
was it archery? Like they had little things going on in the evening. Free cocoa at 3:00, a hot cocoa social.
There was like a big chessboard that
Yeah.
you could like play with like the big figurines, but we need to brush up. I don't have any chess skills, so I guess we'll have to brush up on those
Yeah.
in order to go back and play. But
Uh-huh,
I liked
girl.
that big old huge set.
Yes, I did too.
You liked it too? I love that you liked it too. Okay.
But then yeah, we walked all over the inside. There's like a stuffed cat, and then there's like a in memory of a cat. There's cats all over
Yes.
the Crescent. We couldn't find them, but they kept talking about all these cats that live there.
Yes, and there were like a taxidermy like stuffed cat,
Yeah, we saw
and then
stuffed
there
cat.
was like a memorial to another cat that had been like the quote general manager of the grounds, and
For like 20 years.
yeah,
or
they have like
something.
hotel cats that kind of just keep the property, the mice away and stuff, which I love. It reminds me of like Disney, because on Disney properties they have all of their
Cats
like
everywhere.
cats and keep all the rodents out, and I love a cat. So
We were for it, but yeah, we went like down into the basement. We were like
we
walking.
walked around all the floors.
Yeah, walked all over the floors. We were determined to find a ghost, but they waited until we were asleep, and then like, here's your towels for the morning.
What was nice is that like you could go up to the rooftop bar, and they were like, you can take your drinks walking around all the hotel properties. So we were just like walking around drinking.
And the hotel was built by like the mayor or like the governor of Arkansas at
Yes,
the time.
kind of like wanted to bring business in on the railroad, and it was one of those like boom town basically of business. So.
And for most of its opening, it was a hotel, but like in the off season, it would be like a conservatory or a girls' college. And then at one point, this is where the spooky stuff comes
Yes.
in. It was handed over to this creep that was ran out of another state for like medical fraud. And he ended up in Arkansas, and he started saying that the natural springs would cure cancer. And he was doing all this weird cancer research. And they just recently, within the last, what was it, just a few years ago or something? In more modern times, they had been doing some excavating in a basement and found over 500 jars of body parts and stuff. So you know those ghosts are wandering around like, give me my toe.
Yeah.
Where's my appendix?
And they've mentioned in like, you know, just like shows and on things that we were like listening to, that most of the like ghost activity does stem from the time of it being in the hospital, and then these cancer patients were there and passed away, and
Yeah.
their spirits are roaming around, and
Probably angry.
oh, I'm sure, yeah, because it was the Baker Cancer Hospital, Norman Baker. That just sounds like it's not going to be a good guy.
Yeah. Well, then the feds came down on him. And
Yes.
then by the 40s, it was back kind of, did it shut down or was it a hotel again for a while?
And it just like got like decrepit, and it took a while. Then somebody else like took ownership of it, and now it belongs to like a family, and they've had ownership of it since like the 90s, and they've been restoring it.
They got it on the National Registry.
Yes, like that came in like 2016 that it got on the National Registry. So they're just slowly updating it, but also since it's on the National Registry, there's certain things that will never be updated, you know, that just are historic and of the hotel. You
Oh
know,
my God. Like the big titty banisters.
The big titty banisters are my favorite. I was trying to like, I was so inappropriate with those. Every time we'd go down them, I was all like tweaking the little.
We were like motorboating them.
Yeah.
They had like these banisters that have these big breast-like tops,
yes.
ornamentation at the top, and then
And
like a
a
big
nipple.
ass nipple.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't go by without like acting like we were licking them. Or
Yeah, because
pinching
unfortunately,
'em.
I have like the humor of like a 12-year-old boy. So
We're like,
I'm just,
looks
tits!
like a titty.
Gosh, so yeah, it's embarrassing. That and farting. It's like that's how I'm gonna laugh. Oh, a titty.
Titty.
Something that shouldn't be a titty is a titty.
Yeah.
Got it. So yeah, but we overheard some of the like, not the ghost tour that was happening.
We did kind of overhear. We made sure to like go sit by the fireplace and like downstairs
So
when
when they were around.
Yeah, we could kind of hear some of their tales.
About like the different ghosts. We overheard like a ghost story about a ghost named Sue. So I was like, damn, I want to know what Sue's been up to like all
Damn,
these
Sue.
years. Damn, Sue, girl, you hot as fuck.
You got people talking.
Okay, so what else do we have to talk about with that? I think we're kind of done talking about the hotel.
Yeah, we
just-
didn't have like too much happen to us.
No,
I mean, it
felt safe.
Yeah, it felt safe. There's a weird vibe in the hotel, but that comes with maybe it just being old, and you can feel the history there when you're inside.
Yeah. Definitely want to go back to Eureka Springs again at some point.
Yeah, maybe like more like either spring or fall.
Yeah.
When it's really colorful and green, or when it's like really orangey.
I
and
know. It's like we
autumnal.
come in the fall when all up in these mountains would be so fun. I think
Yeah.
that would be a blast. Okay, well, let's get into 1408. Having stayed in our own room, not had too much activity, we can get into 1408 where it was bussin', as the kids say. Bussin' with activity.
Well, do you have a favorite? What are your final thoughts, favorite
Okay.
scenes
All
from
right.
1408?
So,
Let's just-
tragically, I don't feel like I have a favorite scene.
it's all kind of like one big scene in a way, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to pinpoint. It's more of like you'll have to pick like a little moment.
Yes, and probably if I have to pick a little moment, it's him trying to scale the outside wall,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and then reaching and never getting on to, or, never feeling for the other window, and then seeing that I don't know, just the room was just playing tricks on him. Who knows if he was even really ever outside the window, or if
Yeah.
that was just all in his head. But yeah, I don't think, Josh, I think this is our 84th podcast, and I don't think I've ever not had a favorite scene to
Well,
be able to
that's your
mention,
favorite
but
scene.
Yeah, just that's a moment.
Yeah, mine's more of like a little moment. It's when he's trying to summon help from the neighbor across the street, and then the neighbor kind of turns into him.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really creepy, and that was well done. The movie, I'm gonna go ahead and get my knife rating. I'm gonna do 2.5 to 3-ish. I'll settle with 2.5. I think it could have been really cool if he would have nailed that twist that I was complaining about in the
Yeah.
first half. That just really kind of bums me out, because it's a good 15 minutes of you just sitting there being like, okay, well, I know this is just a dream. When are you gonna tell
When
us?
are we, yeah,
The
gonna
reveal is really cool, with them breaking down the post office and it becoming the inside of the hotel.
Just
but,
wish it was an actual reveal.
Yeah, I wish it was just an actual reveal, and that could have really could have blown some minds
Yes.
if they would have gotten that correct. But that kind of slows it down when you're in on it,
Yeah.
on the joke or whatever, and you're just waiting for the reveal. It could have, if you thought the movie was almost over, and then all of a sudden, pow, it got you in the gut.
Yeah.
Could have been a good 3.5, but I think there's just some missed opportunities. Good acting. I really like Samuel L. Jackson. I could have used maybe a little bit more of him. John Cusack does all he can with the part, and he's
Yes.
good when it's called on him to be good. But yeah, that's my. I'll go 2.5.
2.5.
And
okay.
it's not a haterade 2.5. I want to like it more than I did.
Okay. Well, I'll give mine. I'm going 2 knives, and it's because for me, it just misses the mark, and it has a lot to play with, and the director was trying to be creative, but I think just all in all, just kind of missed the mark for me. So, 2 knives. It's still fun. I think it's worth watching, and I do think that John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, they both do, like you just said, what they can. They they didn't do a poor job.
Mhm.
Just, I think in areas where I just wished it kind of, yeah, didn't make me think that oh, does he really not think that I could understand it? It's just a little too spelled out.
Mhm.
That's where I am with it. 2 knives.
Yeah, I like the spookiness, the Stephen King-ness of it. It could have been a better movie.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even know if I honestly
I think there's a better movie in there somewhere.
Yes, and the family ties, all that. I don't know if I really bought it all too much.
Yeah, I don't buy their relationship really as husband and wife.
Wish there was maybe just a little more depth in their relationship, and then the whole daughter thing. I think it could have been a little bit more cleared up. I don't think it had to have been like super, super vague. Yeah, but
And I like the ending with it all being real. Like,
Yes.
that's cool. Like, you know.
yeah.
But, yeah. 2.5 and a 2.
And a 2 from us. And what's up next?
We are.
What are we doing next?
What are we doing
We're going to
next?
the cabin.
Oh, it's our annual cabin.
Woo! Going to
We're-
Broken Bow.
It's our. We need some R&R trip, so we're gonna do Cabin Fever 2. Last year we did Cabin Fever. You know, we're kind of done with the Evil Dead. However, I'm sure
Yes.
you guys know there's a new Evil Dead movie coming out soon. So next year we'll get to cover an Evil Dead, but this year,
For now,
Cabin Fever 2.
got Cabin Fever 2. Pancakes! We'll
Yeah.
see if any of that happens.
So this might be a good one. I haven't actually ever seen Cabin Fever 2, so I'm going in with an open mind. I'm ready to think it's fun, kind of like the first one, or it's going to be fun to make fun of of messes. But you know what? I saw a meme recently that said all movies are miracles. They are hard work, or whatever.
Oh yes,
yada,
like
yada,
never
yada.
stop making them. We need them. So
Yeah, it's like even if they're bad, I know like people worked really hard.
I don't
on
regret.
them.
Yeah, I don't regret
So,
watching it. I know
yeah.
there was effort put into it. So, okay, and that means that you'll just have to wait until next month.
Yeah, we'll see
To
you
catch us
guys
in.
in February.
Get on them social medias. Find us out there on the Instagram and the Facebook and
Yeah,
the
please go give
Twitter.
us that 5-star rating wherever you listen. Write a little review. It really helps us out. Help
Yep.
us get seen more in people's searches for things. So we would appreciate it if you did that for
If
us.
you like reaction videos, you can check us out on YouTube, Blind Spot Reactions.
we
and
watch
see
all
us.
kinds of movies.
Yeah, not just horror movies. Check any of that out that you'd like. Rate and review, subscribe, whatever it is. And we will see you next month. Take care. Bye.
Bye!